What if today, Monday, September 15th, 2025, was not just another day, but a permanent entry in a mental library you could never close? Imagine if you could recall with perfect clarity what you ate for breakfast on a Tuesday in March 19 years ago, or the exact words of a news report you idly listened to on a rainy Thursday in 2008. For most of us, the past is a hazy landscape, a collection of faded snapshots and emotional echoes. The mundane details, the countless commutes, the ordinary meals, the forgotten conversations, dissolve into the mists of time, leaving only the peaks of joy and the valleys of sorrow. We take this forgetting for granted. It is a fundamental part of our human experience, a necessary process that allows us to move forward without being anchored by the immense weight of our entire lives. In the landscape of neurological wonders, there are few figures as enigmatic as Jill Price. She is not a person you would necessarily notice in a crowd. She leads a seemingly ordinary life. Yet, her mind operates in a way that is almost alien to the rest of us. For Jill, the past is not a foreign country. It is a neighborhood she inhabits every single day. Her journey into the annals of medical science began with a simple, desperate email sent to a neuroscientist. In it, she described a condition that had baffled and burdened her for decades. Since she was a young girl, she has been able to remember, with extraordinary detail, every single day of her life. She did not describe it as a gift, but as a running movie that never stops. This ability is not like that of a memory champion. Jill's memory is not voluntary. It is automatic and uncontrollable. A date, a name, a song on the radio can act as a key, unlocking a flood of memories from a specific day in her past. She does not simply recall facts, she relives the day. She can feel the emotions, she can see the sights, she can hear the sounds with a startling immediacy. Give her any date after her early teens and she could tell you the day of the week. She could tell you what she did that day. Often she could tell you what major news event happened somewhere in the world. It is a constant, flowing stream of consciousness where the past and present are perpetually intertwined. To understand the world of Jill Price and others like her, scientists gave her condition a name: hyperthymesia. The word itself is derived from Greek roots. Hyper equals excessive, thymesis equals remembering. It is the state of excessive remembering. Not about trivia or photographic memory for text, instead a specific, incredibly rare form of memory characterized by superior autobiographical recall. They spend huge amounts of time thinking about their past and can recall events with immense detail and accuracy. Imagine your life as daily video files. Most people's older files get corrupted over time. Low-resolution garbled sound, many deleted. For hyperthymesia, every file is perfect 4K with crystal-clear audio. They can pull up May 12, 1999, say it was a Wednesday, describe the weather, describe the clothes, describe the argument they had with a friend. This recall isn't deduction, it's immediate and visceral. Memories aren't facts to recite, they're scenes to re-experience. The chasm between a normal memory and a hyperthymestic memory is vast and difficult to comprehend. The chasm between a normal memory and a hyperthymestic memory is vast. For most of us, memory is a reconstructive process. When we recall an event, we are not playing back a recording. Instead, our brain pieces together fragments of information, sights, sounds, emotions, general knowledge. This is why our memories are so malleable. Influenced by suggestion, distorted by time, blended with other experiences, our past is less of a pristine archive and more of a story we continually revise and retell to ourselves. It is a fluid and dynamic system designed for adaptability rather than perfect accuracy. In stark contrast, the memory of someone with hyperthymesia appears to be more like a literal recording. It is not reconstructed, it is replayed. When Jill Price is given a date, the memory associated with it emerges spontaneously and in great detail, without the effort of piecing it together. This suggests that her memories are stored in a more robust and less editable format. The level of detail is simply on another plane of existence. The lives of those with hyperthymesia are filled with anecdotes that honestly sound utterly unbelievable to the rest of us. One well-documented individual, a man named Brad Williams, uses his ability in his work as a radio news anchor. He's known as the human Google among his colleagues. Brad can instantly recall the date of almost any major news event from his lifetime. He once recounted how, as a child, he realized his memory was different when he could remember the exact date the Apollo 11 astronauts landed on the moon, not just the event, but the day of the week, and what he was doing at that precise moment. For him, history isn't just a collection of facts learned from books, it's a part of his own personal timeline. Another fascinating story comes from Jill Price, who described her memory as a split screen in her mind. On the left side is her present reality, the here and now. On the right side is a constantly scrolling cascade of past memories triggered by the sights triggered by the sounds around her. She once explained that hearing a particular song from the 1980s would not just make her feel nostalgic, it would instantly transport her back to a specific day, a specific place where she first heard that song. She would see the room, feel the teenage angst, feel the joy, and remember the conversation she was having. It's a form of mental time travel that she just cannot control. The sheer density of a hyperthymestic memory creates situations that are both comical and deeply poignant. One individual recounted watching historical movies constantly distracted by inaccuracies. He would find himself thinking, that car model wasn't released until 1978. But this scene is set in 1976. The weather was sunny on that day, not overcast. This obsessive attention to the details of his own past makes it difficult to suspend disbelief and simply enjoy a story. This inability to let go of details also affects personal relationships. Imagine having an argument with a loved one. For most of us, the precise, hurtful words fade over time, leaving behind the general feeling of the conflict, which can then be resolved and healed. For someone with hyperthymesia, those words remain as sharp and clear as the day they were spoken. They can recall, verbatim, every argument they have ever had. This makes forgiveness incredibly difficult for themselves and others. The slate can never be wiped clean. Every mistake, every misstep becomes a ghost that can be summoned at any moment. There is also the peculiar phenomenon of remembering immense spans of boredom. We think of memory as a highlight reel, but a hyperthymestic mind records the bloopers. The question of whether hyperthymesia is a gift or a curse does not have a simple answer. It is, for those who live with it, a profound and complex duality. On one hand, the ability to access cherished memories with perfect clarity is an undeniable blessing. Imagine being able to perfectly recall the face of a grandparent. Imagine hearing their voice as if they were in the room, or reliving your wedding day as a full sensory experience. These moments of beauty are preserved forever. It keeps loved ones and happy times alive. This ability can also be immensely practical. As seen with Brad Williams, it can be an asset in work that needs deep historical knowledge. It removes the he said, she said from arguments. They can recall conversations exactly. They never forget a birthday, they never forget an anniversary. Their memory becomes a tool for connection and clarity. However, the other side of this coin is dark and heavy. The inability to forget means painful memories do not fade. Grief from loss, humiliation from failure, the sting of betrayal. Jill Price calls her memory a burden because of this. She is haunted by mistakes and regrets, reliving them again and again. The weight of every negative experience can be debilitating, causing anxiety and depression. One of the most profound and often overlooked aspects of hyperthymesia is the sense of isolation it can create. To live with a mind that functions so differently from everyone else's is to experience a unique form of loneliness. When you can remember every detail of a shared experience and your friend or loved one can only recall a vague outline, it creates a disconnect. You are, in a sense, living in a different reality. You remember the conversation verbatim while they only remember the gist. This discrepancy can lead to frustration and a feeling of being misunderstood, as if you are speaking a language no one else can fully comprehend. This loneliness extends to the very nature of shared memory. For most people, reminiscing is a collaborative act. We piece together stories with friends and family, each person contributing a fragment, correcting each other, co-creating a shared narrative of the past. This is a vital form of social bonding. For someone with hyperthymesia, this collaborative process is impossible. We have journeyed into the strange and fascinating world of hyperthymesia, a world where the past never fades. We have met the people who live with this extraordinary condition, and have seen how it shapes their lives in ways both wonderful and terrible. It forces us to confront a question we rarely consider. What is the true purpose of memory? Is it to create a perfect, faithful record of our lives? Or is it to provide us with the stories and lessons we need to navigate the future, even if that means editing the past? The existence of hyperthymesia suggests that our ability to forget is just as important as our ability to remember. Now take a moment to imagine it for yourself. What if, from this day forward, you remembered everything? Every meal you eat, every show you watch, every conversation you have, every fleeting thought that crosses your mind. All of it stored permanently, accessible at a moment's notice. Would you embrace this new ability? Would you use it to cherish the good times? To learn from your mistakes with unerring accuracy? Or would you find yourself drowning in the endless sea of trivial details, unable to move forward for the weight of all your yesterdays? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you had the choice, would you want a hyperthymistic memory? If you found this journey into the mind as fascinating as we did, be sure to like this essay, subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of the human experience, and share it with someone who might be intrigued by the person who can't forget.